Yo, what's poppin'? The final two APAC games of the Midseason Madness qualifiers are here to decide seeding. So first up, the Seoul Dynasty 9-2 with a plus 19 map differential against the Philly Fusion 5-6 with a -1. I predicted 3-0 for Seoul, but it was a 3-1 for Fusion actually. In a bit of a crazy turn of events. So Oasis was a 2-0 for Seoul, as expected. Seoul playing Prophet, Fitz, Smurf, Creative, Vindame. Philly playing MN3, Zest, Belosaria, Aim God, and Fixa. University was 100-47 for Seoul, playing Tracer, Ash, Doom on a Brig. Philly playing Ash, Tracer, Balls, and Brig. So Philly were able to take the first cap to get their initial percent, but once they lose it, Seoul just hold on the whole time. A big part of this seems to be the Ball versus Doomfist. I like Doomfist a little bit more on University because there's no real natural way for Ball to be able to drop down and hit a good pile drive or anything, and the high ground isn't that useful, even if you're defending. So I do like the Doomfist more, especially with how the small short the line of sights are. But yeah, overall it was a good round. Philly almost got wins, but they couldn't quite get enough kills to push them over the edge against Seoul. And City Center is 100-99 for Seoul. They're playing Tracer Sojourn instead of Ash, Doom on a Brig, and the same comp for Philly. Or actually, they have a BAP instead of a Brig this time. It was similar to University, although I feel like Doom is even better on this map, but it's for different reasons. Because I think the high ground this time is almost too tall for Ball to get to easily, which allows Doomfist to actually use the high ground better with his shift. He uses it as an escape option. You can use it as a better, well, maybe not as a better dive option because Ball is quite strong on if once you get control of the point up there, it basically stops you from walking that way at all. But I don't know. I feel like Doom has more options with it, and it makes the high ground almost safer for Soul to play on. Uh, and then yeah, same thing. They get the cap. They hold on to it pretty well. And Fitz is diffing MN3 pretty hard across both rounds. He had 12 out of 25 final blows. So that's almost a deadlift for Fitz. So yeah, but that's going to change, but not yet. So Midtown, 2-1 for Philly. Stalker comes in for Fitz. Philly on their offense play Sojourn, Tracer, Balls, and Bap. Soul play Tracer, Sojourn, Sigma, Zenbap. Philly set up the dive pretty easily and executed well. And they stuff Smurf on the recontest. And then they take A with relative ease. B does take a while because even though they were using up their ults, it took a while for Philly to actually set up and execute their dive into the high ground. This is also another situation where I think maybe the Doomfist is better because Ball kind of struggles to grapple onto anything to get to that high ground or boop them down. So similar there, but they do get through at one time, but then actually no, they get on the C. I'm messing it up. They eventually do it because they do they build up their alts and they do find a good dive eventually, and then they only have they push C, right? They only get a minute 30 because they cap B in overtime, and they get a pretty decent push, all things considered, with how much they had. But they get it like towards the end. They it looks like they might be able to win out because the mines comes through and all that. But in the end, they can't do it. Soul's offense has Philly playing Ash, May, Ryan, Bap, Lucio on the defense, and Soul roll out on Tracer, Sojourn, Sigma, Bap, Brig. But then they see the Ryan and they swap to a mirror, except I believe the Ash instead of the Sojourn for Philly. But yeah, so it's rush versus rush. Here, I'll try and do that. Okay, yeah, it's rush versus rush, and it's pretty even until we get through A because both windows come out, and then Smurf ends up canceling Bella's Shatter with his Fire Strike. But on B, they get stuck for a bit, and then who falls? Someone dies. Hold on. Yeah, so both of the Soul DPS die, but Vindame popped window anyway, and I believe there might have even been a beat there. And then Soul just lose despite using both support ults. And from there, it kind of hurts them in the future. They do get through because Smurf blocks Bella's Shatter and then shatters 4, and then Stalker kills them, and I believe it was like a 2v4 or a 2v5 or something, so they just carry. But using all those ults in a lost fight really hurts them moving forward. And they can't even translate that into a capped out B point because I feel they come back and then a whole bunch of ults go both ways, but they ended up top because Philly get their ults back sooner. I guess I don't really know exactly. There's no real reason. They just kind of happened. Bellatrix got a shatter off Both blizzards came off, and Belzeria lived through the blizzard. And I don't know, Philly just lived better. MN3 had a good flank onto the high ground that was kind of hard to deal with, and Philly ended up winning. So Philly win that map, and then Circuit Royale, the 2-1 for Philly. Fitz comes in again, Carpe comes in for Zest, and Fury comes in for Bellisria, and this is just MN3 all day. MN3 has 12 out of 21 final blows for for Philly, and yes, okay, Seoul do make it to C eventually with a minute and 40. But it takes them to get through B. It takes them a long time to get through C, and then it takes them a while to get through A. It takes them a long time to get through B, and then they manage to get through C. But MN3 is going wild, and it's not even peak yet. Like Fitz has 4 final blows, and MN3 has 12. The only time that Seoul ever really get through any of the points is because Fitz manages not to die to MN3 and then gets a pick on someone, and then Prophet does well. But like MN3 is just such a force. It's really not like they either kill him with Fitz or like he will win mostly, or like Prophet finds a way to kill him. Carpe kind of just like a side character at this point. On Philly's offense, it's just MN3 rolling. They roll through B, they roll through A, they roll through B, and on C they roll through C basically because they just pressure the cart, they back up once they have it pressured, and then they rotate over, and then MN3 ends up swapping to Genji because why not? Swap to Genji if you want, bro. It's whatever, and they win. New Queen Street ends up being a 65-62 win for Philly, and this is MN3 even more. MN3 plays so well. He legit kills 4 like 3 times. Just crazy stuff. He opens the round with 3, and I don't know. He is diffing Fitz so hard that Fitz swaps over to the Sombra. That's how you know it's getting rough. I don't know. It was rough. Like it's like kind of close. 65-62 is like decently close, but it didn't really feel close. It didn't feel that close because Philly got the checkpoint so early. MN3 had more final blows than all of Seoul at one point. I don't know. It was crazy. I guess they like kind of come back. Seoul kind of come back, but like it's not fully there. That's mostly off of Prophet, right? Because it's Prophet. Prophet's never gonna go down without a fight, right? But Jonathan played the match gonna do the MN3 because of course it is. He went crazy. If he plays if he plays like this in a midseason Madness tournament, I think he genuinely has a good chance of bringing Philly to victory, especially if Zest also pops off at the same time. If you have a peak Zest and a peak MN3, that's probably the best DPS line in the in the league. I can't think of a better DPS line than both of those two players at their peak, even considering Prophet and Fitz. Like Zest and MN3 at their peak, if they peak at the right time, this team is insanely dangerous. It's just a matter of getting that peak. It's even similar to Washington in a way, where if you get Decay and Happy at their peak, they're good. But it's much better because they actually have like decent team synergy. Because Washington have like no team synergy, this team has team synergy. It's going to be really exciting if they manage to bring this level of performance. These two are wrong. I'm just gonna they're these two. Overview. Soul come out looking better, and they are the better team on Oasis. But after that decent hole in Midtown and they lose the Rushmere, it's just all MN3. Like, maybe like I don't know. I can't see if this. Let's say they did win Midtown. If MN3 continues to play like this on the next map, whatever it was, it's just a wrap. It's a wrap. There would have been a reverse sweep. Definitely the most dominant player in the lobby, like by far. They just got out hit scanned. They just got out DPS'd. DPS difference. And like it's not like Zest was playing badly. Zest was playing well. But nothing like MN3. Just unreal. Just an unreal game. So on to the next and the final match of the midseason Madness qualifiers for APAC. We have the LA Valiant 3-7, the -11, Ace 100 Spark 8-3 with a +13. Ends being a 3-0 for Spark. But it's not like a quick 3-0. Ilios was actually quite contested. So Ilios 2-1 for Spark. Valiant playing Easy Han, Innovation, Marvel, Langsa, and Molly. Spark playing Shy, Alpha, Bernard, Irony, Super Rich. Wells 100-99 for Spark. Because both teams playing Ash, Tracer, Zen, but with Valiant playing Doom, Ana, Spark playing Ball, Bap. So back on the ball, Shy is just too much for Valiant to handle, and he's the real difference maker whenever Spark wins. Alpha E is kind of being a little bit tame on this map. It's like he does kill 3 like in a fight, but other than that, he was kind of quiet. Innovation was kind of quiet too, though. It was just Shy was the main DPS here. Marvel had a pretty good map. And he was probably playing better than Bernard, but Bernard was still able to find good value off of pile drives and off of his mines. He had good mines at some points to deny space. But Shy was the main difference maker for sure. Lighthouse is 100-0 to Valiant. Actually, Valiant been this map really targeting down Shy with their Tracer and their Ball, or with the Tracer and their Doom. Marvel has a crazy map. He literally kills 5 one time. Yeah, I don't know. I think the Doom is much better than the Ball on Lighthouse, which is weird because Ball used to be so good on Lighthouse, but that was because of D.Va being able to contest the high ground. Now that there's no D.Va, Ball actually really struggles to contest that high ground and get value off it, I feel, and Doomfist doesn't. So I like the Doom a lot more on this map. I also like Doom maybe more. Well, I don't know if I like Doom on more, not on Well. I think Ball and Doom are pretty similar on Well, but I do like Doom a lot more on Lighthouse. I feel like that's a pretty key reason for Valiant's win. And Ruins is 199 for Spark. Valiant actually had the first 99, basically. Yeah, just straight up did, not even basically, they did. So they're playing Tracer, Sombra, Doom, Brig, Ana, with Spark playing Ashe, Tracer, Zarya, Ana, Brig. But that Zarya gets 0% on the board. The Spark don't win until he swaps over to Doom himself. And Valiant were just setting the tempo really well with the Doomfist into the Zarya and giving Shy not a lot of space to work with. But then once Bernard gets over to the Doomfist, he actually makes more space for Shy, and Shy is just able to win, basically. Innovation had his EMP canceled on the Sombra, so sure. But the Doomfist really, I don't like the Zarya here at all. I don't know what his goal is. Like, yeah, you can say, oh, maybe you just walk onto them, but like, not really. It's a Tracer, Sombra, and a Doomfist. None of them really care about you. Like, you're walking onto Brigana, sure, but you can dive onto them anyway. So what's the difference? And you don't even have speed. You're not even running a Lucio. You can't. You're literally walking. You're not even running. King's Rose at 2-1 for Spark. Becky comes in for Easy Han. Dia comes in for Innovation, and for the first time we see Liga play in the league after being on the bench the entirety of last season for Spark. He comes in and he plays. He has a okay showing, decent. Nothing spectacular, but that's fine. I'm sure he's not getting that much scrim time, so we might as well give him a map anyway. So Valiant's offense, they're playing Echo, Hanzo, Doom, Zen, Ana. Spark playing Sojourn, Echo, Sigma, Zen. So Becky does a lot for Valiant to make it through A, and they basically weren't finding any good dives or getting any real picks for the most part. Marvel was just kind of dying whenever he went in. Becky gives him their first tick and almost a second tick by hitting a dupe on Sigma, and Molly hits a sick sleep onto Leah, like from a random angle to get them that percentage, but then Spark are able to come back, and Shy Overclock basically gets them to hold. So, just standard. But then he's able to do a lot on Tracer whenever he swaps over and caps out. And on B, Spark basically just fight at the very end, and they have a very strong hold. Valiant, again, struggle to find any kind of a good dive, and Becky isn't doing that much. And this was a very quiet round for Dia, I thought. Dia was not... I don't think Dia did that much on the Hanzo. His dragons were okay. His dragons were good. I'd say his dragons are good. Liga was often split, but Valiant unable to capitalize out on it. Hangzhou's offense, the DPSers roll through A, and they basically only one fight win on the B with how much space the Valiant gives them. But it does take quite a bit. They are forced to make some compositional changes, and then it takes a bit for them to build the ults. But they eventually do get through from Shy hitting a great flank and killing Molly, and then they grind out. Liga hits a good flux, and they win. So not too eventful here, but what can you do? Dia has a pretty decent showing on the defense. But yeah, Alpha E still having a pretty quiet game so far. Oh, I said 3-0 for Spark. This is a 3-1. My bad. This is a 3-1. Because Valiant wins Circuit Royale because Dia is the GOAT. So as Han comes in for Becky, Pineapple gets his first map ever, and he comes in for Alpha E. Finally, not behind Shy, now beside him, and Bernard comes in for Liga. Valiant's offense have them playing Sojourn, Widow, Sigma, Bap, Zen. Spark playing Widow, Hanzo, Sigma, Zen, Bap, and Dia rolls through A basically, and Marvel rolls through B. So Valiant just get through those first two, and then Valiant play smart and they push card as much as they can. They rotate over to take the high ground, and then just roll over Spark again, and they finish with 258. So a really strong offense from Valiant, and just no real resistance from Spark. It felt like I don't know, nothing really to say here. They just kind of rolled. There wasn't a whole bunch of pushback like at all. Spark's offense. Valiant playing Sojourn, Widow, Sigma, Bap, Zen. Spark, playing Widow, Hanzo, Sigma, Zen, Bap. I think it is interesting that you brought in Pineapple to play the Hanzo. Like, yeah, Shy's going to play the Widow, of course, but, like, Alfie's been playing the Hanzo, so maybe you just want to give him a map, but even then I'd expect the Sojourn. But sure, why not? Play the Hanzo. I would have expected Shy on Sojourn and Pineapple on Widow, to be honest, but Shy basically win them the first 2 points. He almost wins them the third point. Pineapple also has a decent A, but Spark really not setting the tempo on their Sigma play. I feel like Shy basically had to do all the work himself to find his kills. There's a time where there's a window that comes out from who's on the bat. Langza hits a window, and Spark just kind of sit there for a bit, and then the Pineapple decides to dragon, but he gets headshot by Dia mid dragon, and it doesn't come out, and then Shy just kind of Spark just kind of roll over. I feel like Spark needs to play a bit more proactively. There, they see the window, they immediately hit the dragon, they hit the flex. You have those. They have those abilities. They have those ultimates available. That's just the order of things how it should go, or like use one of them at least. But it's too slow to decide which they want to use, so they don't use either. Shy on C when they do make it through B eventually, because Shy kills 3, right? He is constantly killing multiple people in losing fights, and it's like, this is so sad. Someone help Shy. So Circuit Royale is basically Shy versus Valiant, and it was really sad. They almost do finish the map, but Molly was able to save up. He killed 3 at the very end. So Shy stopped from another 2 rounds, which was almost certainly have been a loss, to be honest. But new Queen Street happens. 107 to 55 for Spark, so not really close at all. Innovation comes in for Dia, Saucing comes in for Marvel, and Alpha Yi comes in for Pineapple. So Valiant play Sojourn, Sombra, Zarya, Lucio, Zen. This is the same composition that they beat Fusion on. Spark play Ashe, Tracer, Zarya on a Brig, and you see 2 Zaryas come out, and I feel like Spark's comp is just Valiant's but better. I'm not sure what the Sombra does here if you're not playing Tracer. Like, I understand playing Tracer and Sombra. Maybe that makes sense, right? You want both of them, sure. I don't understand playing Sombra and not Tracer. I think Tracer just does Sombra's job 100 million times better. The ultimate is better. The neutral's better. You have more pressure on Sombra, because let's say you're playing Sombra to pressure Shy on the Ashe, and you don't want to get one tapped, sure. But whenever Sombra like TP's out, there's no pressure on him for a long time. Tracer, whenever Tracer recalls out, you can come back and apply pressure much more consistently and much sooner than Sombra can. Yes, you can get one tapped on Tracer, and maybe that's why they want the Sombra, but I feel like just don't get one tapped, because you have no chance of killing Shy on the Sombra, basically. Like, if you're scared of being one shot on Tracer, you're not killing him on Sombra. He'll hit a shot on you and you'll TP out. And the EMP was just horrible. The EMP got 0 value. And that allows Bernard's combo with Pulse and Grav to be way better than a Grav EMP, which we saw come out as much as it could. And even though Saucin is for sure the better Zarya than Bernard, right? Bernard has the Ana, so he has more support and thus can do more than Saucin can. I just don't like this at all, and I feel like the composition was a huge reason for Spark to just kind of roll over them. Alpha Yi also on the Tracer. basically uncontested, right? Nothing's really contesting him. He was just doing whatever he wanted. He was killing a whole bunch of guys. He was going back and spawn camping Molly whenever he wanted. No Tracer's not Sombra's not going to go back there and stop him, right? That's a Tracer. A Tracer would do that. A Sombra won't. Uh, so this let Alfie just got better and better as it went on, but he wasn't really. Well, no, he was quite good on King's Row, I believe, but on New Queen Street, he was a different level than the other ones, and he did quite well. So anyway, Thompson player of the match gonna go to Shy. Huge reason they went on Ilios and KR and makes Circuit Royale almost competitive just by himself, doing a lot. And basically, if Shy is playing the game, Spark will always have a chance to win a match or maps, or because Shy's the kind of player that has the ability to just win maps for your team. Almost he doesn't almost do it on Circuit Royale, but he almost gets them 3 points, which is all. Like, what more do you want from a player, really? So it just has to be Shy, right? But overview. Honestly, Spark do take a step back from their last match, but they also did experimenting by giving two players their first maps in Owl ever on two different maps, so it's not a huge deal to me. I don't like seeing so much Zarya, especially on Ruins, because on New Queen Street, it might have just been a counter strat to Valiant's weird comp, because I can genuinely see it being a good answer to Valiant Zarya comp, because it just should be better. The Valiant Zarya comp plays well into ball that we saw against Fusion, because the ball, I don't know, the ball gets sombred, but with Sparks comp, Sombra doesn't do anything, and it just looks better in the mirror, in the Zarya mirror. So hopefully we don't see too much Zarya, but I think it was a good adaptation just against Valiant on New Queen Street. And Valiant, this whole stage, they felt kind of weird because they're rotating the DPS around so much, and it makes it hard to pin down their identity in a way. Like, they're gonna have Marvel on Doomfist, they're gonna have Sauce on Zarya, but and like they'll play some Sigma, right? But I feel like Dia's their best player, and sometimes he's only in one map a series. He's in two in this series, but sometimes he's only in like one map. I feel like he's just their better player. Like, even if Easy Han is better on the Sojourn, Dia has a better Ashe anyway, and a lot of teams prefer the Ashe, so I don't know why you wouldn't maybe lean into that a little bit more. And I'm sure his Sojourn isn't much worse than Easy Han. Easy Han's like an alright Sojourn, but like, it's not like Dia's Sojourn couldn't be that good. I don't think. Like, I don't know. I don't really see a whole lot of reason for Easy Han to be in over Dia, to be honest with you, most of the time. Like, maybe some very specific Sojourn only maps, but that's like 0 maps. I don't even know what map that is. And I do think they would have better results if Dia played more, because we saw Circle Royale. Dia was a major part in that match. Like, yeah, Shy, maybe I was focusing on Shy a lot, but really Dia was a huge reason that Spark were struggling at all. Like, even though they weren't setting the tempo, they weren't doing all that. Not setting the tempo lets Dia do so much. I don't know. I do hope Valiant get better still, but this was kind of a disappointing stage after a reverse sweep on Philly. I'm kind of sad about this, but not a horrible match. Like, Ilios was close, and that's a win. It's a win, but being close can only be a win for so long. It's like Vancouver. They're close, but being close is only like allowed for so long. Eventually, you do have to start getting wins, and Valiant just haven't yet. But that's gonna be it for me. I'm not sure if there will be NA reviews, because I do have a midterm tomorrow. There's like a month left of the like term, so whatever. But so I'll probably end up studying for that, and then I have the BPL player draft happening at 6. So tune into Bad Patchy Murray League on Twitch if you're interested in that. But yeah. So comment down below your thoughts on these matches. Like this video if you like it. Subscribe for more daily Overwatch League content, and thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a good one.